Yeah. No, G2's fracture's not great.
Comps here, and
what
we got it right there.
MIBR blending the comfort of having
G2 on defense, MIBR on attack.
With still integrating the necessary meta components of the breach. Teho, Aspas is so quick off that fault line.
Dodges that armament flash as well, got that regen armor.
He's gone down instantly.
Aspas though has to linger, caught inside some of that util. Now the activity comes from B main. Jorg wanted the long range fight, but Aspas on the ghost a little too crispy. I like that from Aspas though. That was really nice. He knew no matter what he was going to get traded here, and then they should be able to win this one out.
Follow it up, get an easy kill. Jonah pressured by the drone, forced back as the spike is going down. Verno with the trade again.
Yeah, Trent, unexpected I think there for the attackers.
Same pistols yesterday. MIBR, yeah, they're just rerunning all of their pistols every map. At one point, you would imagine it would get
clutch. Posted up in hell.
One point you imagine it get anti,
but he does just that. No awareness.
Infamous, of course, of course.
Position in hell.
I'll do it after.
Easy for him to pick up that kill and get MIBR.
Pitchtober, thanks so much for the 12 months, mate. Thanks for the prime.
Is that 4-1 on pistols?
Do you think is the best team in the world right now? I don't think there is one, to be honest, at the moment. Everyone's insanely close.
Here's that play, Aspas quickly into heaven. The numbers really favouring MIBR towards the end. Shenum flying in wait. Perfect beginning on this attack side already. Phantoms for Aspas and Verno, they are going for it. G2, don't fancy yourself.
Chat, we 5-1 in pistols? Wait. Getting ahead of myself. 4-1.
Couple shorties, one sheriff for Jonah. Aspas happy to wait out anyone pushing down mid, and he may just get his wish. Valen has pressed up into that corner. Surely MIBR re-clear that.
Leaf is spotting for him. So now, how does Valen go about it? Off angle! There's the flick. Aspas always seems to have it.
They're allowed to dance.
Snappy as you like.
He knows
got pressure over towards A the whole time with the smoke wall as well. They feel like they need to get a little bit of info so they can try to stack the right site. Should be nice and simple, and this one should be Verno just droning out here.
In a moment, unless Leaf does the unthinkable with that shorty, but the thinkable
drone out.
Would be that he goes 1 for 1.
Risky.
Extremely thinkable that. Okay, there it is, 1 for 1. You called it.
I don't know if there was any info over towards A that Shannon saw to make this an easier call.
Come back in
you
now.
normally think you'd have to try to get some kind of info, so I guess there was something.
Now MIBR would just love for either Cortezio or Shannon to go ahead and pick up that one stray weapon, as those are the two guys with the pistol. MIBR want to be able to buy as many rifles as possible for that round 3. But they're not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, can definitely go for this as G2. You've got a bit of time. Fault line there, they're definitely committing. G2 now will try and unravel the whole
weakest region at the moment. I mean, it's China, then EMEA, and then it's like up for discussion, to be honest.
Classy stuff from Trent, but now the odds really feel like they're working against him. Cortezio low. Don't do it to him. Okay, buddy.
That was sick.
Sometimes it's good just to, sit and think and not react straight away.
Oh, Cortezio was just a moment away from being able to carry that rifle over, but he can't. So G2 will be more than happy.
Kind of get away with murder there.
Absolutely. They'll be happy with all that economic damage that they were able to.
Oh, that was close.
The deal.
We did get that from Jorgamo yesterday. Ridiculous snipe
caught.
That was sick.
Oh my god. That's too funny. All right. MIBR, what are they cobbling together here? They've got a couple rifles on account of the players who bought nothing. They literally have just recreated last round's buy into this one. Oh my god, Chaw. That's perfectly placed.
Yep. Not hard to see no sheriff player, so not something you're probably writing home about if you're MIBR. I think still proceeding apace. You just haven't had any good progress through the middle part of the map. Smoked up by both sides. Aspas might still look to operate around that dark cover as he peeks into the corner. Jaw, of course, has to respect this Teo util. He'll have some to play off
himself. Re-clear back. Wait, that's kind of nice.
Still a clear mid as far as he's concerned.
Smoke goes up, Salvo deep, re-clear that. Oh, dude, that's honestly, I like that a lot.
Smokes that are being cycled top mid.
That rifle gets cycled over to Arzine now as well.
Once they take the vents with their salvos, you salvo back with a stun behind it.
The big lunges across the map. They're still.
Well, this gets weird.
On mid. Trying to construct this G2 hole, but Joy is everywhere.
Didn't see the second, so they don't really know there's another one there.
G2 have allowed MIBR to get this space in B Heaven. Leaf playing on that common off angle. It's just such a strong one, however, and Inferno is shot down. Now without being traded by Cortesia.
Oh, yeah, TP just a little too far forward. It was on the corner.
Oops.
That
Okay,
little
clean
mechanical misstep is easily
Nice from
punished by
G2,
Valid.
just one loss, one
There's
armory
G2
back.
walking out with 4 rifles from their first buy.
Now we'll get to MIBR's full buy. Rifles for all 5, not just 3. Jaw was ruthless with his willingness to fight in mid there, just spraying through the smoke constantly. Holds that little gapped angle on the left. You can kind of leave open with the dark cover if you want.
Yeah, he sort of
have someone post up.
reposted back into that room after the salvos came through, and Aspas didn't have a timing to punish it.
Now, this is all of MIBR gathered up outside of A. You can see that Artzin has the lineup ready for the standard fault line here into Heaven for Aspas to play off of. Doesn't connect onto anyone, but they've gotten this space.
Still has updraft dash.
Okay, Aspas should be able to get to Rafter here. Should he choose? No.
Yeah, I mean, this is a free side on this one.
Followed up by
See the reaction from G2 and to push down towards middle, so it looks like they can be pushing one fast behind.
5-on-5 retake situation now. No ultimates on the board just yet. Cortesia has opted to play very far forward in this dark cover. He's about to be revealed, and Aspas wants to help from the other side, but
he shot the decoy.
Time's out, but this is getting a little awkward even for Aspas'
Yeah,
liking.
and you gotta feel like
he's got to
Leaf's
concede the position. Verno knows now they're getting chased.
Leaf's luck on
G2
this
starting
one's
to get
gonna be
aggressive
nice.
here on ramp, and it's getting ugly for the attackers. Verno gets his, but Lee's got an off angle. And Artazine cowers alone.
Okay, very, very
Takes
nice
one,
from
but that's all she
G2.
wrote.
I feel like it all really came
There
down
goes
to
money in
Cortesia
Things get a
in the
little more
smoke,
uncomfortable
shooting
now.
the
The
clone
Brazilian
here.
side, they were just unable to
We might get the
fight for
replay.
any space of significance. It was really only Cortesia up in Heaven there. And then you could see, yeah, Aspas is trying to fight up ramp at the same time, but it just doesn't work out. G2 overwhelmed them with numbers. The flash onto Cortesia was perfect. Fraud feeling some early frustrations here.
It feels a little uninspired for MIBR. Like, as soon as rifles have been a factor, they milled around mid a bunch that previous round. Aspas down early. They mill around A main, and G2 just take a pretty
Force him down to
aggressive
the
timing
eco,
to
got hero gun on
overload ramp with
Aspas,
2 players.
and it is G2's time
So the
to
message
suck
might
in some
be
money.
MIBR needs to be more proactive.
Get a stun
We
for
play at a
Heaven, try and
higher
enable
pace.
Aspas to get a
Aspas
kill.
tried, but There's nothing to find.
All gathered up outside of A again, or MIBR.
Yeah, we can stun off of this drone if anyone was
A lot of
close.
straight up 5-man A play against Sen from them yesterday.
Does Jonah get spotted on that shoulder peak? It's likely. Gate crash set up by Jorg. There's a pretty heavy mid focus for G2. Just Jonah at A. Just one token defender in Heaven, which means the push through A main is technically open.
G2 were so convinced of something happening.
Yeah,
in
it gets
mid.
quiet and
Jonas
G2
was
want to
ready
get
for
some
fault
map
line.
control,
Now
because
that jump spot.
they
Sees
can
Artzin,
obviously see the
that
A's
is going
weak
to
at the
give
moment.
game
They
away.
could have been
The
a
breach is
walkover
over on
towards A.
ramp. G2 are
Right, someone
pushing
could literally
behind
be
already.
like here
Jonah has ball in about
already.
7 seconds.
They double
Yeah,
push over,
absolutely.
well,
Look at
triple
the
push over
position
towards
of
mid
G2
to get some
players.
kind of
They're
map
getting
control.
close. There's a teleport
Omen
to the
all
side.
goes
Okay,
onto
Valen
site,
died.
get
Val
info.
will still get there on a decent timing though.
Dude, Shadam's not ready for this.
MIBR, I think they're trying to set up at Raptors, but here comes Jaw. Shenham, the loose end, now down. All of MIBR trying to group up here in Heaven and the site respectively. In Lee, he's off the boil.
great tail.
Aspas gets
Wait,
the
this
better of
Armageddon is so good. It's forcing all of G2 out, but Jaw's collecting the kills backside.
Jaw. I mean, G2 will fight in the sun or inside. Doesn't seem to bother them. Aspas and Cortesia here now have to go for
One
it.
bullet,
Aspas,
one bullet.
just a wayward bullet would take the man down.
Oh, and he
Now
heard him
it's up
and he
to
gets
Trent.
his
All of a
dash.
sudden, this is falling apart.
Dude, he
Aspas
refaces,
knows
no way.
approximately Trent is
7
Heaven
bullets.
side. 7 bullets left. 7 kills for Aspas in the game. One opponent
Oh,
to take down.
lovely little
Extra
swing on top of
step
that.
Taken to the
The
right.
lovely little swing.
Converts for the Red Bull clutch.
Stays
And a pretty
calm on that
important one at that.
situation and just
Now it might
swings
be
like to the side. That was
Start to build
sick.
that bank a
Little
little bit more.
sidestep.
Look how this
Yampy,
played
thank
out.
you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Dude,
Aspas
41
is on
months, Yampy.
fire today.
Thank you for the tier 1,
Getting
mate.
that first kill, and then from Heaven, eventually just needed
Um,
one bullet to
dude, I'd
connect on
stake
Jaw
today,
while he
Yampy.
was
It's
sticking
banging.
it.
What was it, like a crouch into step?
Okay, big 1v3 though. To be fair though, Jogama made that a lot closer than it should have been, I feel like.
G2 still have enough
Like,
cash
Jod
to
is
buy.
insane. I
Though
think it's
everything is
his,
going to be on the line
double
for
kill,
them
but
here.
And now that sort of mid-play that we're conditioned to expect that last round is
the
actually
K-barbecue,
happening
dude,
here.
that's banging.
Aspas gets that high ground. Boing, boing. I like this. Getting
It's a
active
very
on the A side,
proactive defense from G2 at the
Shannon
moment.
gives it up. No insert left here for G2, but they're happy enough.
Because all of that pressure came to MIBR, they are ready to take space elsewhere on the map. And they've worked up mid, they've worked into Maya. Leaf has been a nuisance on this exact off angle on a prior round. He's hoping to get that one, fall down, reposition.
Standard aftershock there. Trent already off that line. Armageddon coming through. MIBR got to be quick about it. And Lee just picks him off. Says, have you learned to
Didn't
eat
he?
your greens?
Didn't he get stunned as well?
Forced back by the sun temporarily, but only 40 seconds on the clock. The rest of G2 all running over to this B side, just denying anyone even being able to just pick the spike up.
The cross-map fault line is nasty work. Set up by Jonah. Verno, again, well,
Man,
we've seen this one.
Leaf is
many
doing
times before.
insane in this final. Whether
Trent had such an excellent
he's had
usage of
so
Armageddon
many
into the
rounds
salvos
where he
there,
just
it forced the MIBR
makes
players
the- makes the
forward, and
biggest
Leaf had
play.
already repositioned into hell. He just had the perfect setup
10 seconds left.
to get those kills as they were forced out into the open.
I mean, both Armageddons were nasty. Previous round it was Verno forcing the two G2 players out of screens. This time it forces MIBR to get running.
And you know, there might have been a timing window there for MIBR to just accelerate through Mail, get into B, but there were maybe 5-6 seconds of wait time after Shenum had absorbed
Yeah, he
that
at least dodged
aggression
the
on
stun.
A that allowed for
that was a great
Trent to
stun
get
back
close
from
for
Trent as well.
repositions to occur. And by the time they actually
The
went
great ult from
in,
Trent,
they
great
were
stun back.
forced in, and then G2 were set.
Some of that mid-rounding come to the fore. Arnazine's in a hell of a matchup. He's played, what, 1 BO5 as IGL on this team? And Valen, of course, more recently, was a global final in a 5-mapper, calling that
I mean,
one against
every
T1.
single G2 game recently has been unbelievable.
Many of G2's games go the distance. That's been a theme for them last year as well.
It was all dominance, it felt like, to start off with, and now they have been getting tested by every single team, every series. And aside from that loss to Sen in the upper bracket, they have met those challenges, beaten them. That's why they're making it to Toronto. That's why they're still in this tournament. No one has made it easy on them, though.
This time, that characteristic mid-push from MIBR is going to be a little stifled with the Viper's Pit set up.
I got no idea this is in play yet.
He's picked up the operator out of this timeout.
Cortezia, though, much more well-behaved than he was on that Haven map.
That
and still it's
crouch.
not enough. The discipline was there, but Valen steps up and forces him to fight.
We saw Sentinels yesterday exploit Cortezia being on his lonesome in B main frequently. He needs to not succumb to that same fate against G2.
He's the one to try and get active a lot in these early rounds.
Really
Might
good
need some more
stun again
variation,
from
though, as
Trent.
Aspas is just
Back to back,
hammered with so much
incredible
util. This is definitely
stuns
shades of
from Trent.
yesterday's game for MIBR. Losing that loose player on B, their fast hits getting stuffed by util. It's like a nightmare that repeats itself.
I love this from G2 out of the timeout. Cool. We're going to buy the op. We're going to push up into B main, take control, do something different. And whatever
Jonah? Nah,
plans
Trent both times.
MIBR had heading into that.
Trent,
we don't even
Trent
get
had
to
good
find
stun
out what
here
they
once
looked
he did his ult,
to
and then here on
any
Aspas.
percentage of an extent. I mean, they were just immediately dismantled.
So that first push. Cortezia, they're just losing out to Piggy's advantage, perhaps.
Aspas looks like he was stunned up there by Trent. Valen just gets the spam. It's just, it was as good as done when Aspas is isolated in the site and picked off.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to give a bit of a yeah. So we have to wait, I guess, a couple of rounds until we see what Frog was really calling for. They try and run it again.
Dude, it was
Aspas
almost
goes for
going to be a
fight. Those stingers are
back-to-back with the
plenty now for
stuns.
MIBR.
He nearly did it.
Like a kicked anthill on this A side of the map.
Jonah's caught close right now. Yes, he has this wall to tuck into, but it's going to go down. They're surely going to clear this.
Oh.
Yeah, Verno.
Okay.
Oh, out of nowhere. Verno just
It took so much space. How's he here?
And here's Aspas getting deep, getting amongst it.
He's gotten into the back lines, and Artzik
Hey,
cleans
well,
up
dude,
the last
4
lead
people
on the
survive
flank
as well.
shutdown.
1, 2,
Very
3.
cool. Thrifty there for MIBR.
Not the 4th.
Say the
3
very sarcasm,
upgrades.
It was 4 stingers brought in to start
And
the round.
that's
End
lovely
up
for the
picking
money,
right
though.
side there.
Yeah, they picked the right side, and finally someone from G2 to MIBR's liking has actually moved up on ramp early. They were in the range of that fault line to get caught. Aspas finds
Back
the
to
initial
playing
kill
retake
and
on
then
A,
just
yeah, it might be after
sprints
this.
into the back line.
Nice. It's like you come home at 3 a.m. and Aspas just turns the light on. He's sitting in the armchair. I've been waiting for you. Set up in this board.
Couple of ace spams at the moment here.
Now from G2 in main.
Jesus.
All of the players stacked up with that util.
Again, it's been so nice. The combo of Trent's util is there.
Oh,
However,
boy.
perhaps, the defenders have overstayed the
No
Walken.
idea that he
Burners
crossed
able to
it.
cut them down to size and even up the odds. Jorg can't post up on that rafters angle. Artazine slaps him down
3v5.
instantly.
He just didn't expect him to be in the site that rapidly. Valen
Ooh,
weak.
he
Verno
won that.
hungry for more.
Well, he
knows
can at
got
least come the
taken, wishes
damage.
He bought a Vandal. It's down into the 2 versus 2.
Spike, though, is down. MIBR
So we
trying to play off this
this,
together.
surely.
2 flashes as well. In hand for Artazine. And Leaf has finally arrived on the scene. The cavalry's here. He's very healthy.
Yeah, I mean, if
Gotta
we
put it together with
didn't
Valen, who's
buy
still
Pro 10
snagging
seconds
his
ago, we're
way
not
with
using
2
it now.
screens.
They
Not
know
so
they're
healthy
both
anymore,
low
is Leaf.
HP.
Wants to try and take this fight without backup, by the way. Valen is not there until now.
51 and 10.
So much damage done to Leaf. Both G2 players weak.
Time is ticking. Valen slammed, and now G2 have only Leaf to account for.
Oh, and he just barely gets into the range of the stun.
No time at all. Leaf at 11. Artazine artfully dodging the corner.
Just staring at him.
Just trolling the guy. Shorty puts it to bed, and that's 2 in a row for MIBR.
These hits on
Yeah,
A are
this is,
starting to look
and
real
this is the
nice,
buy round
but
for
I love
G2,
the
and if they
response
lose it,
early
they
from
gotta
G2.
eco.
You said it, they overstayed their welcome. They find 2, and they've committed here close.
Dude, they had
And as
no
soon as that wall
idea.
drops, wide swing from Verno. The players that got G2 the advantage fall themselves. And just little things over and over cascade into their defeat in that round, because then you had Jaw trying to post up on main but didn't realize he was too late, that Artzin already beat him to the punch, was in the sight, was on the angle. He goes down. Then we're suddenly into a 3v2. And it just keeps crumbling from there. MIBR had taken the lead now.
I mean,
on
a
attack
team
split.
Stinger and Shorty
Something we
only.
heard from Josh RT.
I mean, Desper, you playing Sage or not? That's the real question there. You're doing that.
Proactive, a little bit more adamant about getting forward, or a little bit more confident. And that's something that Leaf was trying to call for during the games yesterday, as Ender had the cans on, was listening to their comms. They definitely feel like their mortality has been kind of exposed to them over the last few weeks. Just how close these games have been. Now maybe that same level of confidence isn't there. Or maybe it's too much in that kind of round. They've got to find a balance.
This was the map as well. Yesterday, that Leaf dropped 28 and 12 on playing the Viper. An obscene stat line.
He started so well in this series, but the second half of Lotus, he started to fade back in the periphery, Wyatt.
So far, solid here. Nothing, you know, unbelievable, nothing bad. He's playing it just a solid game at the moment. But when someone is
Okay, 4 people that can't buy next.
playing at a level
I mean,
that
you could
astronomically
argue that
high,
this
you have to
can be
keep
a
your eye
buy, but
on them and
we'll include it.
just tally where their performance is going.
Yeah, is that more obvious if he goes off the boil, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Surely we don't walk through. Oh my goodness, that Omen flash. How is that a thing? And then off of the stun, they get
Literally
salvo kill. That's insane. It is one of the maddest. It's
It's
one of the maddest entries.
Here we go. all over
Sometimes the
big
game is
site.
just like that.
This round is just as good as done, unless G2 are able to catch someone from MIBR unaware.
Good timing on this one as well.
Check
Might
this
even
as well.
find the other
Was he
2.
confident enough that Jordan
Well,
crossing? Yep. We've given him all he needs to know. In comes Verno. Knife in the back.
Okay, they
It's
forced
two
him down
brothers.
to an eco 6.
Don Jonah.
Most likely 7.
And already it was looking like it'd be unlikely they'd try with 3 guns. Even less so with 1. I think Jonah's seen enough.
They went forward just hoping that someone on MIBR would overextend, that they could maybe find a kill, find a way back into the round, but the odds were always going to be stacked against them.
Well, it looked like he was going through the motions, but Jonas crispy
well.
with it. Oh, okay. Put that away.
Sorry.
That timing is so crazy, and he's shot down by Cortezia.
No
Pretty
gun
important
saved
kill.
as well.
MIBR
Trent
obviously
can
haven't
buy,
chased
Valen
into
can buy
that.
something okay.
G2,
Maybe a
this
Baki
is
or
now starting
something.
to snowball
Leaf likes a
out of control
Baki.
for them.
He did see him, I guess, but how's it a headshot?
So
Oh, God.
silly. It's so
It looks
ridiculous. And then there's a
disgusting from that
follow-up missiles that
POV.
came through from Verno. Find the kill onto Leaf.
And that's what it's like to coach Aspas, I guess. Some of those random moments just tend to fall in your favor.
Yeah, they don't feel so random
Yeah, not with the amount
after
we've
you've
seen.
seen them hundreds of times over the years, do they? But they should be random. That's not how the game should be played. G2 have got a half buy into this, just making sure they have enough to afford. Maxed out on the last round of this half.
Aspas spotted egg, gets ahead of it.
Josh looks tired. Dude, they've had close games, and then every single time they're pretty much playing the next day. Good omen flash.
Artisan on the line, it's going to be traded with an overload of players now. Jorg, with nothing but the ghost, has there's no way, brother Pooley.
I mean, everybody is just blinded up by the paranoia.
Okay, let's just settle down. Leaf here gives his position up, and Verno is able to convert. Not too shabby for MIBR, despite
He said post-map interview that he's tired. Oh, really? I mean, yeah,
I think that paranoia
it's one of those when you're prepping as well, and you only have like 24 hours, not even. Dude,
some collaterals
that sleep is getting sacrificed.
So Shannon, of course, who was able to just, cool things down a bit. Things got a bit hectic. Round ender there from
Can they get a...
Verno. Here's the last round of the half.
The attack op.
Ultimates of note, plenty for G2.
Full arsenal for G2 to try and get a 5th round on
attack
the board.
opener, I guess he's not going to be making some kind of attack on play.
But split, you need more than 4 on defense when you're going to attack. It is miserable to start down at a deficit like that.
Wait, he didn't clear the corner. Well, this gets weird.
This has been the case in many of these rounds. Aspa, there it is. Leaf returning to that heaven position after giving it up because of the util. Aspa's not ready for it this time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice change up from G2. They realized they're getting absolutely wrecked over towards heaven with that stun, double salvo,
Yeah, that's making it
dash.
seem like there's going to be a hit towards A, but it's all of
They decide to
MIBR
actually
gathered
insert
up
one
running
over
through
towards
B
her.
main. Not an area of the map that they've been heavy-handed with. Prior to this final round, Valen repositioning in mail. Looks like he's going to be able to catch Shannon. The spray is wild, but it pays off.
Still 3 up now for MIBR. Have to find a
one
big
of those
turnaround
jaws.
here. As that Armageddon comes in, Jorgamo dances amongst
Yeah, I mean, what is Verno even meant to do there?
And here's Trent doubling down. It's on Artisan.
Yeah, I
And he
mean, this
can't
is
see
a
a
nice
darn
retake
thing.
from them. It was a nice change
4
up from them
plays
as well, putting
involved
one
in
over
that kill.
towards Mail,
Jorgamo with the credit.
just to
Four
try
ultimates used, and the
punish
round is also
this
one
aggro
for
heaven
G2.
take.
They'll be happy to leave the half with
Dude, 7 on
that
attack
final
though, gotta
one,
be
but
happy
they
with
won't
that.
be thrilled about it just getting them to 5.
It's gonna be a lot about setting
side down.
setting
MIBR on their map
Aspats
pick,
up on the sides here.
looking much better than they did yesterday earlier on against Sentinels.
Such a brazen post up there by Leaf as he hits back up the zip line to take the fight.
I'm just jumping up and down while he's full stunned.
That is correct. Yeah, Aspas definitely gets affected by like a fault line as he gets on in there. Well capitalized on it, I've got to say, and in keeping with the previous 2 maps, it's been a competitive first half. But like Wyatt said, G2 would have liked a little more than 5. A pistol, though, in the second half would fix that right and good. So stick around, let's see if that's the case for the second half of Split.
I don't really like.
Do you think we'll see the trend server on Ascent?
But when
Are you
Verizon
talking
announced that I can lock
when
in a low
Teo
price for
goes
3
out?
years,
Honestly, I
yeah,
think G2, like
that's what I'm
fast fix,
talking
might
about.
just put server in most maps.
Can you hear me now?
Depends how much time they get. Kind of depends where they place here, really. Split and Power will be interesting, as in to see what teams will play. Dude, teams will start using Deadlock on Split, I'm pretty sure. Paul? I think... See, Paul, I don't know. Start going Sova Vice Chamber? Sova Vice something. You have to get YouTube to start talking about food. Dude, why is the YouTube chat always arguing, man? There's always 2 people going at it. I don't know what it is, man. Don't know what it is. KO? KO's kind of strong. Oh no, not this again.
Of course, are headed to Masters Toronto, and tickets are on sale now. We've got a QR code there to scan to secure your spot at the 2nd global event of the year. It's on the North American continent. The best, surely, being set here from Americas. And honestly, it's interesting because a lot of those top teams from other regions.
Chat, I thought all the
EDG,
tickets
for
got
example,
bought up.
Not gonna be
Am I
there. It's
missing
gonna be
something?
a wild time.
We do have the lone Canadian, Jonah P, on stage right now. Feels at home on the rink with the Zamboni smoothing out the ice. The one single Canadian player that will be at Masters Toronto.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a bit of a hero's reception as G2 have had to fight pretty tight. Does that look a bit laboured at some points? Get there, bro.
Only for playoffs.
Maybe there's some bumps and mounds on the ice, no worries. That QR code, folks, get to those tickets are on sale now, or AXS.com for those. Hopefully we see you there. It's going to be a great time.
In the
with
tail
great
offers
games.
overkill for sure, yeah.
It's about the pinnacle of Valorant.
That is a stacked tournament. Stacked. I mean, look at the game we're watching right now. We could get this as a nice little repeat there at some point.
Jeez, that would be wild. And again, remember,
we'll get MIBR against the best teams in the world from all
$900
the other
Canadian
regions that we
dollars
haven't
for
been able to see
finals or
that happen yet.
semi-finals. Wait, what?
So excited to see all of those potential matchups.
Is Canadian
come to
dollars just
fruition.
cooked, or is that?
back in an international? Feels like a breath
I
of fresh air.
don't think they're that cooked.
Okay, so G2 on the attack
Resale?
side.
Oh.
No early smoke here. A main, but the Viper
okay.
Balls, of course, will come up. Gate crash cleared.
Wait, that
Faked by
sucks,
Jaw.
dude.
Bear in mind, right now, MIBR, they are up 4-1 when it comes to pistol rounds in this series. Dominating at that aspect of the game.
That's
getting those
resale,
early
but
advantages.
that is kind of cooked.
Looks like he wants to get tucked here. And maybe just
I mean,
stay.
honestly, yeah, I feel like
Here's the
everything's
insert
cooked at the
player
moment.
on ramp side. But this has kind of been read by Shenum. MIBR have been so good at these pistols, but Jonah P doubles back.
Yeah, Shannon
Catches
tried
the
to
player
get
that
that
was
push down
hoping
towards
to be
mid.
the thorn in the side of G2.
There are still 50 seconds to play with for this G2 team. They are spread across the map. You have a Leaf inserted over an A ramp. Osbos keeping his eye on mid right now. G2 could quite literally be anywhere. They've decided to pivot back to Leaf, who's been uncontested in this area of the map. There's going to be so much pressure on Artzin.
How's the trigger discipline looking? He's about to get a lot of
Yeah,
options.
love that though from
Talking about the
Jonah.
switch around, very quickly dispatch him.
Jonah's
And
just
Lee's got a
jumping
good
around,
spot to
making
play
sure
off
they
of
can
now.
get trades.
Pick
I
the
mean,
boxes left, go down to 30
there's
and
a
back
pistol
away.
from
He's done his
G2.
job. This will confer heaven over to MIBR to make use of, and I think Verno wants to try and clear ramp. Lest there comes a late re-hit from Leaf.
Oh, does he clear this?
There's no
Is
way.
Osbos
There's no way he's clearing this.
It
No,
looks
no,
like
no,
he
no, no.
wants to,
No, no,
man.
no,
It
no,
looks
no,
like
no.
he does. Oh, but the right click, close range.
God, he just knows.
That should end the round.
One enemy
Out.
remaining.
Nothing to work with now.
okay, so
Cortez
it's
is basically
4-2 on the
second
pistols,
forward
though.
still.
1-1 on this map.
with no real options and no definitive way into the round. G2, crucial, absolutely crucial pistol round after a little bit of an anemic first half. Making a one-round game with a flawless on the pistol.
Beautifully done. Very simple. I like that in the mid-round they just have a lot of options to play with. It leaves MIBR seeking information, Shannon pushing down mid, caught, and then from there, okay, well, no one's actually bothered to re-clear ramp. We have Leaf sitting there. Let's just go all the way back. Get a free A site execute going.
Again, look for more of that mid-rounding from Valen. Something that really has put G2 on the map, literally.
Yeah, they're allowed the 2
The
deaths.
entirety of them are gathered up. B-main early outside of Leaf, who's just
But that...
playing to
Dude, Artzin can't help himself, man. Gets the shorty out.
If the MIBR defense just hurls all their util fast A and start running at Leaf, then he could just tell the rest of the team, okay, they're legitimately every single player is here, just go into B. Yep. That isn't the case, but that's one of the ideas with that kind of setup.
He trends back over towards mid. There was a gate crash set on the A side of the map for Jaw in case there was a good reason to trend in that direction. Pretty fundamental now. Take that mid control. Verno's pushed up the inside that smoke with Artazine, excuse me, with a shorty. Drone comes past. Yeah, it's just too much to look at. Cover going out.
And you have Leaf just taking point as the entry Viper because he's got to go, so just down to go hunt for kills.
Yeah, I mean, he's deployed all of his util over on the A side of the map anyway, so...
If anyone should go hunting, though, for real, it is Jaw. He's got the stinger. He's the player on G2
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
closest to
they'll
their
just
ultimate.
throw...
And I don't
They'll
think
just
I need
trade
to
guns.
inform the viewing audience as to the
You would
importance
imagine.
of the
I mean, he
dimensional
could hunt with a
drift and
stinger.
how much that ult has shaped the meta in 2025. So
And look, on this map, it's wild being able to get into a site. And sometimes, like, you know, we even see, like, Omen Ultimate expended to that effect to join them. So that a
Yeah,
couple
there's the
times
trade of the
sent
guns. We're going hunting.
Here, just to play off the util.
Salvos to force them back a little bit.
Jaw. go run at them. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to work out too well, but hey, he gets 1 orb.
Dude, Vano just got a free
Sure,
assist.
that is one way to get an orb. So, G2, as expected, convert this round fairly comfortably. And MIBR will make sure they get cleared off the map. Buy up now and get serious as we head into the attack side bonus.
Looking to see what G2 are going to opt to invest here. Pretty fair buy. They've got a couple legitimate rifles going against an MIBR team that is, of course, investing it all. Looks like they may want to put some emphasis on A main for this first defensive round. You can see that fault line lineup being set up right now.
Repass and start over towards A. Insta stun? No, stun for this. Oh.
Valen gets across, but does get pinged out by the stealth drone. Just the timing of the activation managed to clip him. And that setup looks similar.
Once they realize that the Omen's going aggro over towards A,
player up there inserted.
they take B main control. I say take B main control, he just starts fighting behind his smoke.
Question they'd like to levy.
Oh, Shenum is in serious trouble. Yeah, needs to get out of the way after being scanned. But because they have routed him from male, G2 are
It's a lot of map control at the moment for G2. 3-person stack from MIBR, but
the pace difference is so massive between these two in terms of how they hit B through heaven.
the incredibly well-timed molly.
Diving in on that jet.
Oh my god, Trent is
and then
just...
Trent decided the time for patience was done.
Dude, look at Trent go, man.
And this gun round for MIBR has fallen flat so far. Verno's in no position to have any impact, and Aspas, there's no way he could be asked.
Okay, Jogamo's going to get that ult for next round as well, especially if he wants to hunt this a little bit.
And see if someone can find a kill, and then, hey, maybe we try to... No, we're just saving.
Did that molly falls at Trent's feet,
I do like how G2 played that round. They absorb all that aggression on
absolutely
A,
sends it.
So quickly.
It was his own stun as well, right? I guess.
Realize that Shenum ran away, that they hear his footsteps going back towards stairs. They just get into that space to the extent that Trent realizes, I'm going to close the entire distance just running with the Stinger right now. And in the meantime, they're coming out B main. The other two players divided in that split. It's so well done.
Yeah, they're playing off the stealth drone in the mail room very often.
Oh my god,
little bit of food action there from your boy Jaw. Valen cut down, but Venom is low. No one else really there to go for him.
There it is. There's the
away from him.
He's up Ivy.
Oh,
there's the upgrade and the Oro.
That is a dank reference. Importantly, the rifles that MIBR were hoping to hold on to, they just could not carry out of the round.
We see a bit more raise after the turnoff. A little bit, not like crazy amounts.
It's just the tempo is very different to what
It'll
we
be
saw
like
from
5% more or
on the
something.
MIBR side, but it's just as effective.
All of G2 are gathered up for an A hit, it seems.
Let's have some fun.
Maybe if people start,
Jonah on
experimenting a little bit with deadlock.
Ramp. MIBR on the full eco round. At this point, damage doesn't even feel particularly relevant. Look at the G2 cash.
Little TP on out there, sheepish from Valen, but he lands on the spot that Verno had targeted.
TP'd back onto the salvo. It's funny.
Oh, that's an ugly one. Still, it's fairly lowly armed and arm in
They
MIBR squad.
got the same reaction that G2 was doing earlier though. Oh, what is that shot? Nice shot.
But Verno still finds lead.
He's
doing so much damage on this. We've got double push behind as well. Now they need to commit more over towards site, so this double push behind can get a lot.
Lose a 1v1.
Okay, but hear me out.
Does he take the TP at one point? They haven't heard it.
There are a plethora of defenders set up that are trying to fight for this. And oh, it's going horribly
dude.
wrong.
Everyone?
And I shouldn't have. It is fallen to pieces.
Don't let reality get in the way.
Everyone gets an upgrade as well. That's insane for the money.
Not only do they win the eco, they recover 5 rifles from it. They call that a swing round.
Dude, everyone's money's really good. Because G2 had all the upgrades last rounds, and now MIBR 5. I think it was 4 upgrades here into 5 upgrades. It's like the most money we've seen this early on in the game.
Running in because Jaw is in there in the dimensional drift, which was used to lose an eco round. But then the rest of the team can't even swing in to help Leaf. They're all cut off by a molly.
Nice. Let's go. G2 take a fight where they're pretty unfavored against like a Stinger posted up on that corner. Maybe with better spacing, they come out with something there, but big risk to take, and it blows up in their face in the worst way possible.
Fortunately for them, their economy was out of control. If it had been in a tighter situation, MIBR would be in crazy control of this game all of a sudden. But it just resulted in a situation where both teams have multiple full buys ahead of them. Valen is just the first death again. We're a minute 30 into the round. These guys have to execute with no smokes.
Where are we?
I mean, that's Jaw. He'll always take that fight. He just runs in you. Cortez here. No chance to see a barrel shown there. Artazine deals with Jaw.
Dude, look at his luck over towards A though. He's going to call his team.
Pretty tentative about stepping out on
Does
that is a situation where you're in B site and
Verno
okay,
consider
well, they could
this?
be facing me from spawn, they could be facing me from heaven. We can't close any of these views off. We have no smokes. That was a window for them to try to get in.
Oh, dude, this is getting
Second
interesting because
opportunity.
Verno might have just owned it by
Worked his way
exploring over towards here,
into
so
the
there was a
MIBR
whole timing
backline.
anyway. Yeah, the call came in to
Find
just
an
re-clear
opportunity
middle.
to
They
get
need to get some
kills.
space. They're
Maybe
probably
even
going to push
multi-kill.
this as well, double push.
This is about as in the cookie
Right.
jar as is
It was a
humanly
nice
possible.
call. It saved him.
It might be I've just really respected that.
Dude, Leaf must just be like, what
Their
the hell's
information
going on,
over there
man?
is no longer current. So they'll split.
30 seconds left.
30 in the round. Eventually, they're going to happen on the right guess. But G2 don't quite know the status of the A side itself, if there's an anchoring presence or not. We're about to find out. Here comes that heaven fight. It's definitely on its way. Verno also has a bit of a re-wrap
Dude,
of his
look
own.
at how
But
far
may not
away
have the time to
Shenum
wait
is.
for Shenum.
We got ult for
That man is
ult.
on the run through the attacker spawn.
Yeah,
and
and
trying to
Trent's just
double
ready
up.
with this ult.
Paranoia comes through elbow.
Big
Armageddon
omen
is gonna
TP.
cause a lot of delay for MIBR to try to get back
Ooh,
in.
bro, he
GT,
tanked
they
one
are
a bit.
investing into winning this 3 versus
We
4.
had no
Cortez
TP.
full speed,
Oh my god,
gets
I got
out of the worst
close.
of the Armageddon, still alive to be a factor in this retake now. Trent down, Leaf has the tight little angle, but Artazine's able to trade it out. Jonah P, the
No
professor,
smoke to cover this.
sticking Cerebro on his noggin, is able to see through the wall and no Artazine is waiting. Now it's a 1v2, time! Time is short, but his shots aren't hitting at all!
Dude,
He fluffs it
that
entirely!
was nuts, man.
All of
Dude,
a
imagine
sudden,
being
MIBR
Shenum just like, please hit this shot.
in the lead.
Economy.
Dude,
is
Artson did
looking
insane with the
strong for
running
them.
gun there
They
as
got
well to
ults
get
out
that
of
kill over
G2 on
towards
the last
heaven.
2 rounds.
One person has to
Things are
take the hit,
starting
I
to
think,
look
for
Oh,
G2.
so good for them on
I
that
do
map
like the
pick.
little anti here, right?
Valen
This has been like the default that they
back-to-back
commonly
rounds. He was
use.
the
Normally
early
they don't
first
omen
death
TP
for
and
his
they
team.
normally Yoru TP, but this was nice from Aspas to punish this.
Great shots on Jonah there.
I say
He
Aspas, it was probably anti from
unfortunately
Frog,
not able
but
to connect the one shot he needs. Kills the diffuser. That's it.
you actually saw both teams have one kind of round where they punished the default of the others. Right? You saw the Valen tuck into Mail, see this one, sit in the smoke, dodge the damage.
Coming to play us, Cortez was the top-rated player at MIBR.
Definitely something that's spoken about. He tried to go for it again as well. Different player this
It's been a bit
time.
rockier for him. The pressure's definitely been felt. And the start of the series wasn't the beginning he was looking for, but now starting to purr along.
All right, G2 have gained some mid control. They're letting Leaf
That walk
continue to just contain over towards A. They're making all of this sound pressure
Okay,
towards
B fake
heaven.
keeps the
Well,
3
intention is to
here.
work into this A split.
Cross-map smoke, they're over towards Heaven side.
They threw a smoke,
Cortezia
Paranoia,
Artson
a
just have
clone up
to
there
try and get
and
the
sell it.
ones.
MIBR, both players, they're being forced into the backside. They have to double up.
Smoke here might be tricky though for the defenders to come back and fight the Heaven through. Shenum experiencing that right now. Oh, he's too low. Vulnerable from the snake bite and taken down by the salvos. Cortezia
Yeah,
just
no ones
slammed
on that.
insta dink. Leaf finishes him off through the screen. And Aspas is too far away to do anything about this right now.
The
Having to
util, yeah, the
retake with an
util
ult.
was solid Felbo.
The only hope for MIBR here is if one of those G2 players offers themselves up to a fight, but it's just not going to happen. You rarely ever see that from G2. They're just too disciplined.
Crisp. Far too crisp. Verno's been issued the challenge. He'll take it. Win it out.
Player
But really
standing.
at this point, you're trying to salvage some currency out of the round. Aspas says, I'm keeping this
It
shiny
looks
boomstick.
so hard to hold sights
I'm gonna go this
against
way.
Teo, man. I can't wait for that
Just a
now.
nice mid-round pivot from G2. The plan of getting up mid, taking all of that control, and then they send the clone, smoke towards B, Paranoia into B heaven, make all of that noise. Leaf is controlling A main, work into the A split. It's a nice round top to bottom from G2 to tie things up 9-9.
Yeah, really just clean walk up. They kind of knew they'd forced those two defenders to anchor into the site. And they made it hard to retake heaven. Pretty standard smoke there. Just
Eco's are more
kept
common with
MIBR out of
Teo.
it. All right.
Yeah, probably.
Now we're starting to get into the back and forth part of this half, apparently. 18
Would make
rounds in,
sense.
we are tied. And Aspas kept that operator from the previous round.
This time it looks like he wants to post up towards the middle of the map. G2 opt for some early B main control.
Op in mid. Might see some
Change of the op towards middle,
now,
gets
as Aspas, I think,
smoked
is
off.
positioned
What's
ahead
his
of that
play?
mailroom smoke and
Pop of the dash go through.
Inside
Wait
of
for the stun. Pop of the dash go through.
By all this util.
I know he's popping this dash at one point.
Flash though, saw the gate crash into ropes, and this is forcing Aspas to back up now as well. He's in a really uncomfortable spot with his op.
He dealt with it pretty well. I think he's just left his teammate there. Cortez is so dead. Big TP from him.
Teleported into it just to get back
Yeah, it's still a hard retake though. It's definitely going to have to be breach short. Need to make sure no one goes down before he uses this one. Keep an eye on the... dude, this kill in middle is everything. Because that's the retake ult.
About to see Cortezio on his left.
It was nicely done from
no
Trent.
longer with him. He circled back around through mid to
Dude,
heaven.
Trent wins the round though, right? I think.
Almost paid off. It ends up being a trade at best, and MIBR are all grouped in heaven. Trent has a timing. He has an opportunity now to tear it all down. The flick and no-scope is there for Aspas. And now it's just him.
Enemy remaining.
The human tornado versus the professor. Time not on Aspas' side, but there's a moment, an opportunity to open
He's
this
like,
up.
where the hell is he?
Oh, he just thinks that he's wrapping around, but Jonah has been patient at pillar the entire time.
Unmoving, stoic, and now he's heard it all. Jonah knows exactly how to play for time right here. Here's another tap, still falls, because he's going up against a raid boss, but he's played the time to perfection.
Oh, that was nice though. Trent did
It's a period
good.
victory, a round take for G2.
All about
Trent did good, and honestly still G2 did really good to make sure that they took some space, so when the breach ult did hit them,
on the third, just
they could at least tuck in and create the pressure of the crossfire. Dude, look at that, man.
No scopes Trent close range.
It's casual. Very, very casual. Nicely done from Valen. That is
lovely
very
shots,
tight.
bro.
Sick.
Jeez. Yeah, I know.
He's so excited.
That's what I would have said
Holy
if I wasn't being paid to not say that.
What did he say?
Oh, just, you know, what the heck?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
MIBR taking the time out.
One round in it. G2 able to string 2 attack side rounds consecutively. The dimensional drift one orb away. For MIBR, it's a bit more of a complicated problem because Verno's kind of out of money. They can probably distribute enough weapons. No huge ultimates on the horizon either. G2 have been mixing it up a lot.
That one round win from MIBR on the eco where they recover the rifles has given them the infinite money glitch. They are still able to buy. And these have not been, they've been round losses. There was a win that was not particularly clean, and they are still good to go on this
that he
defense,
gets some, he has some good lines as well.
tough as possible for G2 to
He's
try
been a good
and close out
addition.
this game.
Money's finally getting
Jaws
low.
one away from the dimensional drift, so you have to imagine they're going to be trying to play to getting him that orb in B main where he's posted up right now.
Nothing better than having that on a full gun round. Gives you such a distinct
Only the
edge.
Omen ults.
Information is currency
Definitely
here.
definitely some conversation about your ult here as well, for sure. You can see MIBR kind of on top of this. They've at least got the 2. They're gonna, dude, I thought they were gonna try and do some kind of punish over towards B main with the ult tap here, but looking like they might have it for free. Salvos into the spot where you're gonna get spammed, pick up the ult, get it for free.
Much slower here from G2
Yeah, it's nicely done from G2.
than you would expect from the
I was
jet
expecting
complex
some
or out
kind of
MIBR.
punish
No
from
explosion, no burst onto
MIBR
B.
here.
Enough to drag a third player onto the site proper. So little do they know, it definitely opens up this like mid to heaven push now, makes that way more viable.
Right, and now later in the round, the fault line is being used by Artzine, so
Yeah, at least take the space back, but
main.
Valen might take Spike and potentially TP over if A gets opened up. No, we're just going to go the old-fashioned way.
still just have Ospas, who's been posted up over on A ramp the entirety of this round. Now actually trying to push forward. There's that teleport that you mentioned. It's going back B. The dimensional drift is going to spot out Ospas, who now needs to get the hell out
go
of
back over
Dodge.
towards site because he thought it was over towards A in terms of the Omenal. Big Omenal. Cortezia stacks it over towards site. Dude, he's just in the salvos. He did so much damage. Wait, what? Ow.
How did he get two?
Dude, it didn't look like his aim was on him.
On the side, an elbow. Verno is extracted.
Dude, chaotic rounds, man. Absolutely chaotic. Dude, the salvos again just owned it so much. TP committed over towards site, flush him out to the open.
IGL has hit some stunning shots in these last couple rounds.
Sneakily topping the scoreboard. And that's an easy one, a big 4K
Nice
for
round
Valen.
from Valen as well.
G2
Omenal was pretty good as well. The Omenal over towards B created a lot of pressure, so Aspas couldn't take safety on the site itself.
Finally got, I mean, I say that, they're still probably going to force into this. Valen gets that initial kill. How on earth did Cortezia find two?
The close of space is so nice from him as well. The TP player is great.
Lovely off angle. 18 and 13 for Valen. Top in the server. Another game here where MIBR have Aspas. He's in it. He's definitely performing. But there's a lot on his hands right now.
Interestingly enough, in the
if MIBR don't win this, then smap them.
Aspas has had is when he's got the AWP. When he has the Blade Storm, he seems to find it every time.
Speak of the devil. And he shall appear.
He's just so fast with it. He's just so hard to hit when he's just non-stop moving.
What a great start to keep MIBR with like a really, like I said, teetering econ.
Shot.
Half armor for a lot of them.
Such a fast thing.
Artesian says, you know what, I'm good actually.
Eve takes the space with it as well, and there was no hesitation from him. Oh my goodness, here's the jump down. Yeah, dude, this was so nice from Leaf.
Leaf, just like he drew it up, it's a Viper's pit deployed.
Dude, his impact is
that much more
crazy.
awkward. That covers screens, gets in the elbow. It's everywhere.
That initiator duo so unaware that they had missed a timing that Leaf caught. And now Trent positioned in main alone, playing passively, biding his time. Doesn't need to make any move just yet.
You just unclear this if you're the defenders. You don't have the bandwidth for it. You've got such a big problem to try and solve here. And here comes Trent in the backside. Aspas might have saved them. It's just Trent. The Viper's pit is now down. Viper dealt with. Trent, so cerebral, so consistent. Reliable player here for G2 is playing it safe, as only he knows how. Salvo comes in, Cortezia falls, and this complicates it for Aspas now. It does get to half, but it's going to take more than that. And Trent's got to find the timing. The spray is not there!
Dude, the smoke was still up.
He leaves a smoke in his wake! And Aspas uses it to convert.
My God, this was
it lasted
close,
just
man.
long enough for him to be able to fully defuse that second half as well. Aspas opens the round with this phenomenal 2K.
I mean, he has the smoke there, otherwise it's never happening, but...
That swing from Valen was...
Dude, Leaf did insane to make this close.
By an insta one-tap.
So I feel like Leaf is some of like the best instant decision-making we've seen. It's just constant. It's just no hesitation. It's always a good idea.
What he does. Is not grazed by the bullet. One round game. Both teams now kind of on the edge. This is G2 with a pseudo force. All things considered, pretty good buy.
I was going to say he hasn't had the judge yet.
That's an iconic.
Been waiting for it. Nice shot.
God, Jaws just
it's a great double push over towards here. They haven't done this one yet. Double push over towards B once they lose middle. Dude, Artin is in an insane amount of trouble.
You're in trouble, buddy.
I don't even know what to do here, mate. You ain't winning that, Joel. You ain't winning that.
Like a pimple on the tip of your nose, Artesian, impotently tries to shoot in the direction of Rafters.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a mismatch and he knows
maybe he just thought they were in it. I'm not sure.
And now a full strength G2. And a pivotal round in the game.
And it's wraps for this one. MIBR are going to have to sadly retreat and play this for OT.
Yeah, they got to save these guns as well.
Kicking and screaming. G2 have dragged themselves through this game and now put themselves on match point. 2-round lead. MIBR with a weird force coming, I'm sure of it. Nothing huge outside of the Armageddon potentially to work with in the next round. Shenham here just needs to hope, pray he's allowed to keep the rifle. G2 don't want to take any risks of their own here. Leaf didn't think he was anyway, but Aspas will wrest that gun from his grip. Jonah's in position though to recover it at least.
Could have been awkward for Aspas, but he's going to get away with his life. And MIBR won't have the worst buy for this final round. And as you mentioned, Verno just one away from getting the Armageddon. Shannon one away from getting the Viper's Pit.
Has every map so far been a 12-10?
That could certainly get them
at 1 point.
This round win, continue the game, despite the fact that they're not going to have the ideal buy here.
This round certainly now represents a tipping point in this series. MIBR have not won Ascent this stage. And G2, of course, it took Sentinels to unravel them on that map. To take Split away
I mean,
would
they
put them in a massive
they don't get ults for it. They gotta do it without ults.
Fracture has been the permaban for MIBR, so God knows what happens there.
Slow from G2 to open this round up. Waiting to see if any aggression is going to come from MIBR. It's not going to be the case. The majority of the MIBR players are just postured towards A, keeping their eyes on main, ready to play off of anything that might come Aspas' way, but nothing will. To G2, slowly clearing out every corner of mid. We saw League find success on this exact same
in reaction to the mid control. Rowan goes all the way over towards A so they can set the one up, have the double rotate, but they lost middle, so you could have one over towards heaven.
We may never know.
Aspas is going hunting.
Aspas, he's pushed very deep through that A side of the map. That's a potential issue. Or is this just a fake sell?
Oh, the TP in the corner for the potential Bucky. Oh my goodness, look at us go.
Do not dare impersonate me. Verno trades it though. That Guardian rings
through. Oh my god, that Armageddon.
They kind of got their number in the low buys. That was cool play.
Let's force them into the corners at least. That could have been extremely dangerous.
It does throw things a little haywire for G2. But they're better armed.
MIBR, they don't know where to rotate. They were scared about someone being up through spawn, and Shannon on site has been dealt with.
No current mid-info to work with.
Yeah,
now they're going to try and test this from heaven.
I mean, I don't even know how they win this one.
Aspas
Masterclass.
Is star player conspicuously absent. And now he's going to try
and
drag them
imagine that Leaf, no matter what, does play so smart here that it's impossible.
Split hangs in the balance. Verno's going to be forced off by the fault line. And Aspas goes looking. Dive into the Cloudburst, expecting someone in Mal, but Leaf is too cunning to give this one up easily. Not for free, or not at all, he says. Now we're in for a penny, in for a pound, but Aspas is out of the game.
Dude, it's so it's so nice to watch Leaf at the moment in this game. He's having such a good final. I mean, well, lower final.
They steal away MIBR's pick, and now back-to-back have dealt with some of the top America's teams on this